Action! Tank in the center, to the rear, by the ditch.
Oh, Micah,
Hello.
thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about why you enlisted in the military.
Yeah, so I always knew that I was going to end up in the military
Okay.
to at a certain point in my life. I didn't always know like what I wanted to do specifically. That changed a couple times.
Sure.
I didn't know if I wanted to make it a career, which is sort of ended up how it's being, or if it was just going to be something I did and then moved on.
Yeah.
But from the time I can remember, actually, like I was probably like 5 years old. I had saw my dad do it as part of a formation, and they had called him out to give him an award or something or a promotion. And I don't know exactly what was going on, but like just the presence, the air of like awesomeness that whole thing just imbued.
Yeah.
How other people looked at him and talked to him.
Sure.
Like it was just like, okay, that's it. That's what I want to do.
That's what you want to do. Yeah.
And so like I knew that's where I wanted to end up,
Okay.
but I didn't. I made a few stops and trips on a few.
Sure.
So.
Well, where did you end up then? Where did you?
Yeah. So
where did you serve? What did you do?
So in 2009, I found myself in a job that I didn't want to be in anymore.
Okay.
I was sort of burnt out in that, and so I wasn't married at the time. I didn't have a girlfriend or any kids or, and so not having a job, I didn't really have anything tying me down to where I was at in life. And so I still wanted to join the military, and so my dad had said, like if you're going to go in the military, consider going to the Air Force.
Okay.
Because up until that point, I had always wanted to be Army. I wanted to jump out of planes and kill bad guys and, like do that whole life.
Yeah.
And he said, well, like if you're going to think about this life, choose a life that you can like go and sleep in a warm, dry bed.
Fair enough.
Instead of a hole that you just dug. And spend the night, dry and warm instead of like wet and cold.
Yeah.
Like have hot food that you can see have made in front of you instead of like cold food or MREs.
Yeah.
Just like so. Like he's like choose the life that you want to have.
Yeah.
Because the Air Force, in truth, like other services make fun of the Air Force, but like.
Can already sense the rivalry.
Yeah, choose the life that you want, And so that made a lot of sense to me.
Sure. Wisdom there.
Yeah.
Wisdom.
And so 2009, I was 25 years old.
Okay.
And so I decided to go talk to the Air Force recruiter.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in the Air Force. I knew a couple things that I didn't want to do that were a bad idea.
Yeah.
My sister had told me, like if you're going to go in the Air Force, don't go into services, which is essentially like flipping burgers and handing out towels.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
And she said, don't go into security forces.
Okay.
Because like everybody hates you and like you work more than everybody else. And it's just not a good career field to go into. And so I ended up signing an open general contract, which means that you're not guaranteed a job in the Air Force, a specific job. The Air Force will just look at what they have as far as what they need filled, and they'll place you into that position upon need.
Yeah.
And so I signed that contract, went to basic. Shortly after that, I had been talking to a couple of my brother flight people, a couple people that were a couple of weeks ahead in training.
Yeah.
And I found out that open general actually meant I was security forces. Like that's what that meant. I was like, oh, that
seems like the one thing you didn't want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just like, this is really bad. I think I made a mistake.
Bummer.
But so anyway, I finished basic, went to tech school. And then I got my first duty assignment to Eglin Air Force Base, Florida.
Wow. Okay.
Which that was a really God sort of working things out ahead of me as well, because like it was a really great place to have a first duty assignment. Like the weather was great, but also like just the mission was just really relaxed.
Nice.
And so like I could just sort of like learn my career field, learn my job, and it wasn't like a lot of over and above like pressure to like be perfect, as opposed to other career fields or other bases, I should say, where it was like you make a mistake, you lose stripes. Yeah. And it was just like that was so. That's a lot. So I got my first duty station. I got the opportunity to deploy to Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Wow.
That was also God working out, because I didn't understand at the time that that was like the choice, the very nicest deployment that Air Force security forces like can get. Okay. Like I didn't know that at the time. Yeah. Because but like everybody lived in villas. Yeah. Like duplexes essentially. Wow. Like I shared a duplex with two other guys. I had my own room, had my own bathroom, washer and dryer inside the facility or inside the building. And, like I had no idea. Yeah, right.
Never know how good we have it until it's gone.
100%.
Fair enough.
Looking back on deployments after that, I was like, wow.
Aren't you supposed to work up to the good ones?
Yeah, I mean, but it worked out well. Yeah. At this point, I married my wife, and so like that was also sort of God working out that piece as well. Yeah. So yeah, I did 4 years active duty. Okay. At Aylen. I didn't go anywhere else. And then at that time, the Air Force was drawing down as a force, and so they were selecting so many people to re-enlist every month. And I didn't know it at the time, but I had been selected for re-enlistment. But they make you choose whether you're going to re-enlist or get out 6 months prior. Okay. And so I didn't know that I'd been selected, but I said, I can't plan based on the things that I don't know. And so I'd said I was going to get out. And so my wife and I planned to move back to Oregon. Okay. Yeah. And so that I left active duty and I tried to become a civilian police officer for a short period of time. Sure. That didn't really work out. And so I got a couple other jobs doing different things. Yeah. But I also found myself
one of those where we met.
That's where we met. Yeah. I found I did a couple other jobs, but I really missed the people. Yeah. That you find in the military. I didn't miss the job. I didn't miss the 12-hour shifts. I didn't miss like all like the unnecessary like stupidness that the military has. Sure. But I miss the people. I miss like the humor. I miss just like the days that are just like, this is horrible, but we're all experiencing it together. Yeah, right. And so parts of it are fun, and you get to make fun of each other in that time. Yeah. And I missed that. And so so I decided to join the Air National Guard. Okay. In Portland. Yeah. And that was really cool. Like that was a transition in itself. Sure. Coming from active duty to the Guard is very different. It's a different mindset. It's a different atmosphere. Yeah. It's much more family oriented. Okay. You spend 20 years or however long you're in that unit with the same people. Okay. Yeah. Instead of people like transferring into a place and then spending 4 years and then leaving, or getting out. Like for the most part, you spend that 20 years or however long with the same people. You deploy with the same people over and over and over again.
You really get to know them.
You get to know them, and in some ways, like I've said this before, like there's like a lot of the people that I work with, it's like an undesired family member. Sure, fair enough. Like they're people that like you don't necessarily like.
Yeah, sure.
They're not like people that you would want to hang out
Yeah,
with, whatever.
yeah.
But if things like are bad things are happening,
Yeah.
like they're all also people you can rely on.
Yes. Yeah.
And like
yeah.
you can, if something happens, you can call them and
Yeah.
they will come help you.
Oh man.
So it's just
That
like
makes total sense.
you know, like would I have my kids hang out with them? No.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But you know, they're family,
Right,
and so
yeah.
it's kind of a weird dichotomy in that way.
Sure. That's great.
But yeah, so the next 10 years or so, I was a traditional guardsman.
Okay.
Working, doing 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the summer.
Yeah.
That whole deal. And you know, like I went back and forth what I was going to get out. I lost a job, and so you know, like I called my chief up and I said, "Hey, chief, I know I just told you like 2 days ago that I was going to get out.
Yeah.
I need a job though, like tomorrow."
Yeah, sure.
And so he said, "Yeah, I'll put in orders. Plan on coming out Monday morning."
Yeah, perfect.
And so like
That's awesome.
the guard has also like played a significant role in like
Yeah.
providing for my family as well.
Of course.
And so yeah, I currently now in the last year I've taken on a position, a full-time position there as security forces doing law enforcement and base security.
That's very cool.
So.
Awesome. Love that. So you've been doing with the National Guard now for a long time.
11, 12 years.
11 or 12 years. Wow. Very cool. So you had the 4 years with the Air Force and then 11 or 12 years. Wow. That's really awesome. Thank you so much for doing that. That's really cool. I appreciate the work and know that there's been some sacrifices along the way. There's been other places you've been and other things that have gone on. Thank you for that. Hey, what is, when we consider the military and then like Christian service, right? Like there seems to be maybe a little bit of a mindset that both can share. I recognize that not everything and not always all the caveats, all the asterisks that could go with a statement like that. But in your mind, what would you say would be some like maybe some overlap in some ways that being a Christian and serving in the military and some of the things that you've been able to do, how would those things overlap? Maybe it's mindset, maybe it's attitude, maybe it's values. Yeah. What would be some of the things that you would say maybe overlap like that?
So I'd like to preface everything I'm about to say with the fact and understanding that like every veteran, their experience is different.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
Like even people that go to the same place, have a different experience. Of
course,
right? Like I know
think
people.
It's really important to say.
It is because like I've known people that have gone to lots of people have gone to a base that we used to occupy in Afghanistan, and that trip was very uneventful and it was no big deal. Like, but one of my friends, he went there and he was there during the attack in 2012.
Right.
And so his experience with as a veteran is very different than mine than other people that went to that same place.
Right.
And so like I think it should be understood to say that like even as a Christian, like that experience is different.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say the Christian side of that works the same way, right? Yeah. You'd be at the same church in the same situation and come away with two very different experiences.
Absolutely.
Because of a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to point out.
So, but taking that into account, like, I think there are definite mindset things. The military can be very much of like a sacrificial thing, a very like a piece where like it requires a lot of you, like both physically and mentally, psychologically.
Yeah.
But there's also an aspect and parts of military service that it's very much more like just a normal job, right? For the most part, in the 15 years that I've been in, probably 12 of those years have really just been like I show up to work, I do my job, and then I go home.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really no different than say like a lot of police officers or firefighters who do shift work or other people that do shift work.
Yeah.
So
clock in and you clock out. And you do your job. Yep.
In acknowledging that there are certain periods of that time period that like I've spent away from my family in significant times.
Yeah.
And those times are hard.
Right.
I think that like mindset does play a huge factor, because when you're going through time periods of like you're away from family members or loved ones, and you've never experienced this, right? Or you're talking to people that have never experienced this, those kinds of things, like it makes it really hard. It's really easy to fall into depression. You start hearing about the things that are going on at home, and it's just like you feel helpless, right? I've known people who have lost sleep, they can't sleep once they go over. And I think something I picked up pretty early on in my career, I think it was probably during basic, was like nothing bad lasts forever. Right? Like regardless of the situation that you find yourself in, regardless of the thing that you're experiencing, no matter how bad it is, it will come to an end eventually.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a time of relaxation, of joy, of happiness.
Sure.
So
it's a very Christian value.
Yeah.
Well.
And so
yeah.
Just the understanding that idea is helpful.
Yeah.
But also like I think that when you take into account that like Jesus is going through all of that with us, through start to finish. Whether he's in it in the good times of happiness and joy, or you're experiencing the worst day of your life, he's still there.
Oh yeah.
And so like,
love that.
How we choose to react to that situation is entirely on us, right? And so like, he's not going, because of free will, because of all these things, like he's not going to make us turn to him.
Of course.
But he's standing ready to step in and help us through that as well.
Yeah.
So, like I don't know that there's necessarily like direct correlation between like military service and the Christian life.
Yeah, sure.
Of course. Paul talks about like like soldiering on
endure hardness.
Endure hardness, and there are things about that.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's very conceptualized in nature as well.
Right. Yeah. We're talking ideals, right?
Yeah.
We're talking higher level connections there.
At the same time, though, like as I've gone through different things in my life, even like as I got to basic and I was at 0 week, and I'm just like, oh, I made the wrong choice. This is a bad idea. Like as I was getting like smoked or like push-ups, sit-ups, all these different punished for all the things,
right?
Like having the ability to essentially just like remove yourself mentally from that place and just stay in prayer.
Yeah.
It's very comforting as well, being able to just sort of have somebody to talk to that is actually able to help you through that time as well.
Good.
Is huge.
Yeah.
So there's I think it's probably a multi-layered idea of like Jesus is relevant regardless of the situation.
You are.
Wherever you are, he's relevant.
Yeah. So you said that even in basic, right, that relationship with Jesus helped you through. Would you talk to us just for a minute about that first? Like, where'd you meet Jesus? Well, like, how'd you come to know him? Because it sounded like that was already a part of your life even before you get there. So talk to us about that.
So I grew up in church.
Okay.
I think I was born, and then the next Sunday, my parents had me in church.
Perfect. Yeah.
We went to non-denominational churches and Baptist churches.
Okay.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Primarily non-denominational, but and so church had always been a part of my life.
Okay.
I remember coming home from Sunday school one day, and I told my mom that I had heard in Sunday school that day that I was a sinner, that I needed Jesus, that if I chose to reject him or didn't ask him into my heart, that I wouldn't be able to go to heaven with my mom and dad and sisters. And so she had said, well, do you want to take care of that? And I said, yeah.
Right. Simple choices here.
Yeah. And so I prayed a prayer of repentance and asked Jesus into my heart. And I think for the first, you go through periods of growth. I think,
of course.
Like just in maturity, as in just in life, but like I think within the Christian walk, you also do as well.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, like from the time of like I was 5 and understanding I needed Jesus, until I was probably in my late teens, like I was sort of in that same mindset. Like I knew I was saved.
Yeah.
I knew I had a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
But like, there comes a point in your life where you have to start making choices for Jesus as for yourself as a grown up.
Sure.
And
it's time to grow up.
It's time to grow up and start making choices for yourself. And so my dad growing up had encouraged me to think about Bible school.
Okay.
So I was still very mature, very in my maturity, in my and how I thought and my life choices, but I decided to go to Bible school, to a small school in Cannon Beach called Cola Bible School.
Yeah.
And so I spent a year there, and it was geared toward like laying a foundation for Christian service and as a lay person.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily like how to preach the gospel or like how to be a pastor or like any of those things necessarily. It was just like, how do you prepare yourself to stand for Jesus on in your daily life?
Yeah.
And so,
and that was before you enrolled in the Air Force.
Yep, that was before I was in the Air Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did that for a year to sort of just get some time away from my parents and everything like that. Did that. That was really great. I probably didn't get as much out of it as I could have.
I don't know that most people do.
As
someone who also went to Bible school in 4 years, don't know that I got
I kind of wish I had waited a couple years until I was like 21, 22 and be like, no, I actually want to do this. My study habits maybe have increased and gotten better.
Yeah.
But
here we are.
But it was really good. Like I learned a lot. And so it gave me a strong foundation of what I knew I should and shouldn't do in life.
Yeah, good.
And not to say that I didn't make poor choices after that, but I
love that.
That's sort of the path I took. And then going into the Air Force, I just had a little bit better of a foundation to stand on.
I love that. I love how influential. We started this conversation with your parents, right?
Yeah.
And how influential they are in even guiding you to like what you've done. But then like even before that, right? It's like, I mean, how important is a home where you get to grow up with parents like you had, and it's so awesome. I recognize that not everybody gets that, but when that happens, that's really cool. And so love that for you and the way that it worked out. And thank you so much for sharing your story. That's so cool. I appreciate it. And thank you again for the service that you gave and are giving currently. And I appreciate that a whole bunch. And hope that it can be a help and a blessing to other people as well. Thank you, Micah. Appreciate you.